Hi again. So we're beginning to look at issues and attitudes that we see that influence the upcoming election. We might see them on television. We might read them on Facebook. We might hear them from a coworker or even a neighbor. And we hear very polemical statements, very polarizing statements. And our tendency many times is to respond in ways that are not appropriate. Even simple ways like shouting at the television screen. In the book of James, chapter 1, verses 26 and 27, if you claim to be religious, but don't control your tongue, you're fooling yourself. Your religion is worthless. Pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you. Now, James says two things here. One principal thing, control your tongue. Be moderate in the way you respond. Someone shouts at you, don't shout back. Instead, control your tongue. He says if you think you're religious and you don't do that, you're just fooling yourself. But then he goes on and he says two things in verse 27. It kind of explains what this concept of controlling your tongue is all about. He says, first of all, true religion is action. Now, James talks about a very simple thing. I think if he had unlimited scrolls and unlimited time, he would have spelled out a lot more. But he said at least pure religion means caring for orphans and widows, caring for those who are around us who are vulnerable. True religion is active. But then he says something else. Frequently, we skip over the last phrase in verse 27. Don't let the world corrupt you. Now, I think that is really appropriate for this election season, because no matter which side of the political fence we find ourselves on, we will have people shouting their points of view at us, and they're going to be different from ours. Refuse to let the world corrupt you. Control your tongue. Just because they have not controlled theirs does not give you free rein to respond in the same way. Control your tongue, control your texting, control your writing. Respond in a way that brings honor to Jesus. So today, when you hear that political viewpoint shouted at you, control your tongue. Respond. Express your opinions, but respond in a way that a Christian responds. It's great to talk to you today. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about attitudes as we approach this election.